A very good evening and a Merry Christmas to our viewers. Welcome to ELITETV and you're watching ELITETV's Open Debate in English. I'm Amrita, your host for this crucial debate on the topic, who was the Captain of Manipur 2023? The year 2023 is coming to an end. It was a violent and tumultuous year for Manipur and for the whole world as well. War and war clouds shadowed many countries. For 8 months, Manipur was just like a leaky ship in a stormy sea, but without a captain. The palpable sense was sinking in everyone's mind. The masses have been crying for a competent leader to steer us out of this terrible storm. People are ready to defend themselves and fight to protect our homeland, but we need a good captain to do so. There were many leaders before the 3rd May event, but when the violence dragged on for months, most of them has vanished, except for some occasional statements and appeals on the media. Where are they now? To discuss on this matter, our expert panelists are present here. Let's welcome our panelists for today. Our first panelist for the event today is Advocate General Luwang, Advocate of High Court. Welcome to ELITETV's Open Debate.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you.
Our second panelist for tonight is Mr. Dr. Malem Ningthouja, scholar and author. Welcome to Open Debate.
Thank you.
And our third panelist for tonight is Mr. P. Sonamani, socio-political commentator. Welcome to Open Debate.
Oh, thank you so much.
Let's start with a discussion right away. My first question, I'll be going to Oja Advocate Junior Luwang, that the year 2023 will remain as a black chapter in the history of Manipur. There were many confusion as to who is in charge of the state. Till this day, we do not know who should be held accountable for everything that's happened since the 3rd of May. We have seen many disagreements between the central and the state forces as well. What is going on? Who is the overall captain, or is there multiple centers of command at hand? Oja Junior.
Yeah, Amrita, it's a very good question. I would answer the question dividing into 2 parts.
Sure.
One, who was the Captain of Manipur pre-May 3rd,
yes,
2023, and post-May 3rd, 2023. Yes, we all know that pre-May 3rd, 2023, the existing government and the central government were ruling Manipur the way any other government is run in the rest of the country. So I will not elaborate much on the scenario, on the political or the administrative scenario pre-May 3rd. Now, post-May 3rd, I think the central government was trying to take over the administration of Manipur by not openly declaring the invocation of Article 355 of the Indian Constitution, thereby taking the law and order issue, the law and order administration in its own hands directly. But somehow, since presidential rule was not invoked, the central government had done what could not be done directly, but indirectly. It had sought to do so by keeping its own people in the administration of law and order in Manipur. We all know it. Now, ultimately, there seems to be some kind of a struggle between both the central administration and the state administration over the running of the law and order administration in Manipur. We have seen some clashes also, even between the central forces and the state forces. I will not elaborate much on that.
Okay.
But post-May 3rd, 2023, I'm not saying so because I am a lawyer, but looking at all perspectives, I think post-May 3rd, 2023, it was the judiciary who was ruling the government of Manipur. Or I will not say the government of Manipur, but it was the judiciary who had taken charge of the law and order issues in Manipur. If you see the timeline, post-May 3rd, the Supreme Court of India, in fact, had so moto taken cognizance of most of the issues in Manipur, including law and order, including the relief centers, including rehabilitation centers, including even steps to be taken to recover the arms looted or taken, or arms in the hands of many people, both in hills and in the plain. It had even set up administrative or investigation mechanism for the purpose of effective investigation in both hills and the land, in both hills and the plain. Objectively speaking, I would put it this way, that it is the Supreme Court now who has been passing a lot of effective orders, so much so that even the dead bodies of both the groups who were refused to be buried, and then a lot of issues on handing over, recovery from mosques, who were there in a very distressful condition in a lot of mosques, were finally sought to be or rather put to their own deserving places, crematoriums and the burials, only by the Supreme Court by this order of November 2023. If you look at it, in a larger perspective, the Supreme Court has gone even beyond the law and order issues. It has even, said that the 3 judges judicial committee, it is set up. There's all-woman judicial committee had a large jurisdiction to look at various issues or even humanitarian crisis. It has set up SITs to look into various crimes. It has handed over all the crimes relating to women to the CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, and who reports to the Supreme Court right now? Is the Home Ministry who reports to the Supreme Court? Is the Government of Manipur who reports to the Supreme Court? It is a 3-member judicial committee who reports to the Supreme Court. Now, after receiving all these ground realities of the reports, the court keep on passing its most effective orders. One being the order of August 7, 2023, and one being the order of November 28, 2023. So slowly and gradually, all that is going on in Manipur is being supervised by the Supreme Court of India, and of course the High Court of Manipur also has passed some good orders, including the orders relating to the internet ban in Manipur. So the slowly and gradually, it's the judiciary who just creep into controlling the law and order issues in Manipur. If you strictly talk about the law and order issues, now of course other executive actions like construction of roads, appointments, those always lie with the government, with the executive, because there is something they cannot be encroached upon by the judiciary. If you look at the concept of a good separation of powers which exists in India under the Constitution. So that's how gradually and peacefully the judiciary has stepped in and has almost controlled or is supervising the law and order problems in Manipur. Now there is a positive side and there is a flip side. The positive side is that what cannot be done politically is being done judicially.
Right.
See, if the existing government of Manipur or the central government tries to do something at a political level by taking drastic political decisions, then it becomes political. Then a lot of groups are in arms, like this is right, this is wrong, because they can always afford to fight with the political establishment, because that's how our democracy works. But if something is sought to be done under a court order, then people have a tendency to obey it. Even it is easier for the political establishment to justify such action, because they don't take it responsibility there directly, but they pass on the responsibility to the Supreme Court or the High Court or other courts by justifying that this action is being done because there is a court order. And then people more or less respect the judiciary in India, and more so in Manipur. Now the flip side is that there tends to be a very, very grey area where the judiciary can step into the executive domain.
Right.
To look at the whole judicial mechanism and separation of powers and the mechanism of public interest litigation existing in India, the Supreme Court or the High Courts have always stepped in where the executive has failed to protect the rights of the people. More importantly, the fundamental rights under Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. So that's exactly what's happening now. In fact, what's happening now is it's a big precedent for the whole of India in terms of, say, proactive judicial intervention.
Right.
I don't think, and I'm not very sure as to whether such kind of a judicial intervention into the law and order say maintenance mechanism of a whole state is sought to be supervised by the Supreme Court, and that too by the Court number 1 of the Supreme Court of India, that's headed by the Honorable Chief Justice of India himself.
Okay, Ocha Junior, I would like to interrupt you there, and I'd like to know from you, since you said that there is a high high dominance of the Supreme Court overreaching the executive, because we can now assume that the Manipur state executive is almost not functioning. So is there any chances of judicial overreach in maintaining law and order in this kind of situation? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would not say judicial overreach, but the fundamental or the thumb rule is that the judiciary can always step in where it feels that the executive has failed to protect the rights of the people. So that is what has happened. Because ultimately who suffers? The people suffer.
Okay, on that note, that is a very good point.
So
I'd like to...
that's a judicial, I will not say overreach, but that's judicial proactivism, because ultimately the rights of the people have to be protected. So that's what's happening in Manipur, and this is something very encouraging. But as I said, that it could also be interpreted by some quarters as some bit of a flip side.
Right.
Because there is always a possibility of the judiciary overreaching or overstepping its jurisdiction into the executive domain.
Okay, so on that note, I'd like to take the next question too, Oja. Yeah, thank you for your opening remarks. I'd like to take the next question too, Oja Malem. That Oja Luwang has just mentioned about the judiciary mechanisms that are being taken up with respect to the Manipur violence that has taken place since the last 8 months. I'd like to know from you that there has been much talk, there has been much discussions, meetings regarding from the CSOs, regarding the political sides. Yet nobody could bring out a solution, a practical solution. And also, Oja Luwang has also mentioned regarding the judicial dominance that are happening now. Why is the Manipur problem so difficult to solve? Is this some kind of problem that has no particular solution? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you. How do you see the Manipur situation? Do you see it as a problem? Or do you see it as an integral part of certain solution mechanism meticulously worked out by certain forces? It all depends on how you see it, how you read it, and how you understand it, and how you look forward to achieve what. See, the Manipur situation, as you know, it's keeping all of us, from my perspective, into a vicious quagmire. But it's an experimental process where big power players are involved. It's like a tournament where you don't have only the players playing in the field, but the judges are also taking sides, the crowds are also taking sides, and managers are also taking sides, and many forces are taking sides. Now, in the Manipur situations, what I see is you have government of India, one side, with its own ambitions of empire to crush the insurgents and also play certain divide and rule policy. There is no doubt in that. And you have the ruling party, which must also be having certain agenda. And you have the state government, which in fact act as the agency of the Indian Union, but there are certain dynamics within Manipur states. Then there are also other forces which either collaborate openly, overtly or covertly, and work towards fulfilling certain agendas. Then and there are other forces which certainly come up after the May 3rd, 2023 incidents. I feel that everybody is playing in this game with their own agendas, hoping that by winning this game, they are going to achieve what they are aspiring for. And of course, thousands of people have become victimized. They must be looking forward for addressing their grievances and solutions. But the big power forces, other than India, we need to see what is China doing here. And we need to see how the big monopoly finance imperialists like the US and its financial agencies are playing here in this Indo-Burma, Bangladesh borderland regions. It's a big, level playing field now, where every sections and every groups with their own vested interests and with their own objectives and agenda are trying to play out the games here and win to fulfill their respectively designed agenda. So are we going to see it as a problem? Or are we going to see it as a historical trend that has been creeping in for the last many decades, just explode after the May 3rd incidents? Do these big players really see it as a problem, or do they see it as an inevitable course to act in such a way to keep the people divided? Or are these sectarians and reactionary forces in Manipur think it as a problem, or do they think it as is one of the most viable options to create more violence and then legitimize their demand for a separate administration? Or other anti-India forces operating among the Maltese, do they think this crisis as an inevitable course whereby they also be in a position to assert their anti-India feeling? Or are there politicians trying to aggravate the situations to become as the devil flares and with their own electoral agendas to mobilize people in various ways? So I mean, your question sounds very interesting, but as I see deeper, I don't know whether we are going to see it as a problem or we are going to see it as a mechanism through which different power blocks and different aspirants are trying to eke out their vested interest in agendas. And of course, as I said, we are in a vicious quagmire experimenting process. We will see longer. These things will not continue like this for longer. Somebody has to win, right? So let's see how it turns out to be. But we all, peoples who believe in the idea of a united Manipur where peace and democracy and humanity prevails, for us, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for us who want peace, who want harmonious coexistence among the communities. For us, it's a big problem. And when we say we are not getting a solution, we are the one who are crying for the solution. But otherwise, I think the big actors who are really benefiting from this issue, for them, it's just a game.
But Ojo Malem, you just said that there are so many parties with vested interests who are participating or even playing some hand in this violence. What, according to you, think is their end game with this?
The big colonial power will think that by dividing the peoples and keeping the peoples completely, in a very turmoil situations like this, they will be able to strengthen their control in various pockets, even to the extent of beyond the boundary of Manipur as well. They must be thinking in that way, right? Or for some other super big power forces, they may be thinking that this issue will help them in gaining access to certain controls to the Sagyang and Jinhil divisions to counter China later on in the long run. They might be thinking in various ways like that. But for small people like us, who are brought up and trained in Manipur and who have this visions of an idea of a united Manipur where community coexists, for us it's a very big shock. But at the same time, we should be alert and we should be happy that this is an opportunity for us to urge our idea of Manipur, fight well, defeat the enemies of peace, and this is a testing moment for all of us who believe in this idea of Manipur. So it's an opportunity in one sense to experiment how far we would be able to withstand the onslaught by the external and the external forces and the internal enemies. So it's a big testing moment for all of us.
Ojo Malem just introduced a very deeper level and a very interesting insight to this. I'll come back to you again, Ojo Malem, in the next round. I'll move on to Ojo Sonamani, that our first two panelists have given their very respective interesting points. I'll come to you that the state government's most recent initiative towards normalcy, that is, we have heard that regarding the highway bus service, it is now open for just 3 days, not more than 3 days now, but nobody is going using the bus service. In fact, there are more reactions than using it. Do you think the people on both sides will finally approve of the highway bus service, or do you think that this is just another initiative from the side of the government that will go in vain? Or just Sonamani?
Ms. Amrita and my two colleagues, and the ladies and gentlemen who are listening this evening discussions, I would like to extend my warm best wishes on the eve of the Xmas. Today is the 25th. the December, we should have enjoyed the Xmas and very happily in a very gay mood. Unfortunately, we are put behind the bar as good as our advocate, senior advocate, very prominent advocate, Mr. Luwang had categorically said. Apparently, Manipur government or India government has covertly has applied or has rather included the Manipur under the Article 355. I would also like to include another one, Article 356, Article 2. Although it is undercover or covertly, whatever might be, the Manipur government might have accepted it, but the Manipur government, please be aware, you are sitting in a chair. You are supposed to, you are the parents of these 35 lakhs people. You are good and bad, not for yourself. You are supposed to look after the welfare of these 35 lakhs people. Either you are being put behind the bar under this 355 or 356 article undercover, which you have not, or the India government have not rather blown up or had not officially announced. But apparently, the way that Manipur government has been controlled under the command of the government of India, it's very pathetic. I think more or less Manipur government has become a pseudo-government. We know it. Say today is the 25th, the Lord Jesus, he was born yesterday, whole world is celebrating it. Today the valley area is being, the continuously firing is continuing it. Some people, they might have injured. I was listening to the local medias. It is a matter of shock. Who is responsible? If 355 article or 356 article, the power is being seized by the government of India, definitely you have taken over it, you undercover it. You cannot deny it. Then it's not the government of India. Are you not responsible it? Or do you want to say that even in this, the auspicious day, even the Manipur, you don't want us to, breathe properly or to enjoy or to worship the God, the international accepted the Lord Jesus in this particular auspicious day. I don't know how the Manipur government has remained silent and how long we should silence it. This is the question seat. India government, as per my understanding and what I feel personally, India government, you have taken a policy, divide and rule policy, which is not at all an acceptable government of India. You may take so many cover, you may try to explain or try to fool us in many ways. Your chief minister, your party's chief minister, you can make him fool, but you cannot make fool the public. We are much intelligence than to you. Your act, the way you have adopted, your suspension of operations, the notorious people, these dreaded criminal people, how you have not controlled so far. This 2,500, the dreaded arms and ammunitions, along with them roam around, and then they have cordon. We people live in the valley. We don't have arms. Some of the village volunteer force might have acquired some local made or the ordinary arms for defense purpose only, self-defense only. You have given a free roam. You have given a leeway to this criminal. You talk so much that you will give the justice, you will administer it, and you will see that the Manipur restored peace. What kind of a peace that you want to restore it? We are seeing it that Manipur has been converted into pieces. Your peace has been converted into pieces. Today even there was a sporadic firing from many places, and you claim that you are the champion. This is something ridiculous, government of India. I will not hesitate to say, this is too much that what you are doing in divide and rule policy. We know, unless or otherwise, you back these people, these criminal people, this unwanted, insurgent people, whom you could not control it, they will not behave in this manner. What is the agreement between you and the tripartite talk and with this activist and the Manipur government? Are they not supposed to confine within the camp only? Are they not supposed to even not to touch the arms, the ammunitions while they're stored? They're not supposed to touch even. But today it has been opened. By whom? It is with a blessing, if I am correctly understood it. With these arms, they are roaming around and getting the firing to the armless people, the cultivator, and when they try to go to see their own paddy, they are being fired from every angle. You remain spectators. You remain. It seems that you are enjoying it every day. This Manipuri valley people. I will not say that Meitei people. We never say that we are cookies. We never say that we are Nagas. We never say that we are Bengals. We say that we are Manipur people. Manipur belong to every section of 35 people. We don't differentiate caste, creed, religions, or tribe. We feel that Manipur is everybody's Manipur. Still, government of India, you are not satisfied. What do you want to do? We are asking you. Not will request your chief minister, your government, your party's government might fall to your feet. We are not going to succumb from any pressure. We want justice. Yes, our prominent advocate Luwang said that judiciary is taking very, very seriously. Judiciary, when the cases comes to the judiciary, it comes after the death doctor is invited most of the time. Most of the time, because there is a barrier. There is a very strong wall between the separations with the judiciary and the parliamentarian. So they don't want to interfere. They're right. And the parliamentarian too, they also do not want to lay their hand in the judiciary. So this is quite okay. But my personal appeal is that when the patient is lying on bed in the hospital, give the requirement. Say yesterday, in the Kangpokpi area, medical equipments, one vehicle was carrying it, about 50 lakhs rupees, worth of 50 lakhs rupees medical equipment, and the medicines. These people, they have burned down. It is for whom? Is it not for the mankind? Government of India, you remain silent. You know that Manipur government is a totally handicapped. They cannot do. And they are under your command. That you might have, we are fully aware it. Manipur government shall not do it without the approval, without getting any signal from you. This is, I'm 100% sure. Then what kind of instructions that you have given or you have issued to the Manipur government? So I must say very clearly, very boldly, very emboldenedly, and I will claim that government of India, you were thickly involved. What kind of decisions that you are passing on, we do not know. We people, we are armless people, we are yearning for peace. We want to live peacefully and cohesively with every section of people. As Manipur consists of 35 communities, different people, we had been living in a very harmoniously, in a very beautifully, we had been living it. Suddenly, some people might be some foreign espionage group, or might be they have too much, over-ambitious to get a separate administrations or union territory. That is your concern. We shall never agree to it.
Yeah, Oja Sonamani, you just mentioned a very good point that I would like to take across to Oja Luwang again. You said that Manipur government will not do anything without the signal from the government of India. I would like to take that point and carry it to Oja Junior, that this bus service that have been operating for just 3 days now, the Central Paramilitary Forces, they are under the Ministry of Home Affairs, right? The bus was sent by the state government and it was stopped and turned back by the Central Paramilitary Forces at the behest of these cookie CSOs before reaching Chorchanpur in Kangpokpi. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the Ministry of Home Affairs do not approve of this the state government's plan of the highway bus service?
Yeah, Amrita, to your first question, whether the government of Manipur is acting under the supervision or the orders of central government, in these circumstances, I think it is yes. Because most of the actions taken by a state government like Manipur, which is in utter trouble, normally the state government would not move a finger unless until there is some kind of a clear signal from the central government. more specifically from the central, from the Home Ministry.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
Second is that this bus service, although very small in size, I think it was just one bus to Senapati and one bus to Chanpu.
Yes.
It was seemingly, and if you ask me, in reality, I think it's a one big step towards normalizing the whole process of peace and the reconciliation between the communities. Of course, it is very unfortunate that Kotu and the Kuki NP had announced some kind of a blockade in Kangpokpi area and the whole Sada Hills area, and then so did ITLF for the Susanpur area, and the buses were stopped. And to this extent, I would say that the stoppage of such bus services at Kangpokpi and somewhere near Susanpur, I don't think that it was done in connivance with the central government.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It were those elements within the other community who seemingly believe that it's a bad thing for them to allow free movement of people within Manipur because they believe in what they call separate administration and the complete bifurcation of the plain areas and the hill areas. There's a political part of it, but prima facie, to me, it's a good mechanism or a good step taken by the government of Manipur. Although as things move on, I think that gradually the buses might resume with the support of both the central government and the state government. Maybe it's a small step now, but gradually I think more buses hopefully will fly through these routes. Second is that if I look at the statistics, as reported in newspapers, the passengers in these buses are I think Tangkhuls or the Nagas. They couldn't travel. They were stopped at these places, and then I think in Kangpokpi they were taken by different so-called the government vehicles to Senapati. So it's a good. I mean, it's good. It's good that such a step has been taken. It will certainly lead to some kind of a reconciliation in the near future. Now, just to comment on what Malem has said, that for this strife to end, somebody has to win. I'm not very sure about it because this strife can be won or can be resolved only when everybody feels that he or she is the winner. So we have to also do some kind of a give and take with our brother tribals. I mean, I would put it this way. Although some people that believe that even we Meiteis are tribals for a long time, and now, but technically we are not, and they are. I mean, if you look at it legally, because I'm a lawman, so I will put it in a technical language. So somebody somewhere has to act in a very fair manner, so that everybody feels that he or she is the winner. Second thing is that let's not call it a quagmire. It could be a little bit of a difficult or impossible situation to get out of it, Amrita, because quagmire is like you get caught and then there is no way to get out of it. It's like Chakravyuh. It's not a Chakravyuh as such. Reasonable people, we have reasonable people within Meiteis, we have reasonable people within Kukis. Time for them to sit down, thrust out the crucial issues, come up with a formula which will be appealing to both of them and acceptable to both of them. I do have some suggestions on that, but maybe this is the right platform, not the right platform to float around those suggestions. Maybe in closed doors meetings I can share it. An acceptable formula for both the parties. Somehow the official peace committee has not worked as it was destined to be, but I am told that unofficially a lot of parleys are happening between the two communities. Meetings are being held outside Manipur at an unofficial level, which is a good development. So let peace take its own course, and then I always believe that there is a way out. Let's not call it a quagmire.
Okay, I would like to move on to Oja Malem that regarding this bus service, in the Kuki-dominated areas, there is total disregard for law and order. They openly brandish these prohibited arms even on social media. They even turned back the bus before even reaching their destination. There were two IGPs of Manipur Police that have been entrusted to see that the bus service reaches this designation, but they were turned back. So I want to ask you, is our state police very weak? Are they not able to restrain? Are they being restrained by the political bosses? If it is so, then why?
See, apparently, the civilians who inhabited in Kangpokpi and Surasanpur are numerically, the Kukichin Mizo people are numerically dominant. But practically, they are not the dominant force. It's the Indian government and its law enforcing forces, its military and paramilitary forces with all sophisticated arms, they are the dominant power. They are the ruler. This we need to clear. And we have sizable numbers of the police. It's not that police is not functioning. When there was some tensions between the fighters and the cookies some days ago, police were into action.
Yes.
They were doing their jobs. It's not that the administration is completely paralyzed. Two things, state, civil police or military police, whatever it is, still exists and doing some kind of work. And then we have the military and paramilitary forces. These are the areas where the Armed Forces Special Powers Act is still operative. So let's not call it that is dominated by the Kuki militants or whatever force it is. The dominant power with the most sophisticated arms, with resource and sense of intelligence network happens to be Indian state and its repressive forces. The only point is that despite heavy deployments of military and paramilitary forces and police, these areas are not working to the extent of law and order regulations that we all are expecting to. And I think there might be political reasons for that. What exactly could be the reasons, I don't know. If the forces or the power or the political leader or whosoever it is, be it the state government or the central government, whosoever could command over the police or the military, if they wish, then I'm sure they can enforce the rule of law there. But they are not doing it. Why? I don't know. But for us, it seems that they are playing certain appeasement policy, maybe temporarily or maybe long term. We don't know. The tripod talk, which our speakers were pointing out, have been happening since 2008. They have been using Kuki militants as a proxy for more than 15 years. Maybe they are using the entire Kuki population as a proxy, or may not be. I don't know. But I know that when it comes to the collective desires, there are certain loopholes where the state police are not doing up to the levels of expectation. Of course, they have done something very great in More area.
Yes.
Certain levels of law enforcing agencies or law enforcing systems have been enforced there, but that comes only after heavy casualty, when these state-owned big police officers were killed and there was ambush and all. So I don't know if the government is expecting more retaliations from certain sectarian and reactionary forces to deploy and exercise rule of law. I don't know, but it's up to them. But we know that these are all political instruments. If these instruments would function brutally, if these instruments would function civilianly or in a civilized manner, everything has to be decided by the people who are in command of these forces. So if the police are not working, then it must be something politically designed by the power center. That could be the reason, but I can't say for sure, but this is how we see.
Okay, earlier you described this situation as a quagmire, even though Oja Junior Luwang reiterated with that. I'd like to know from you that there seems to be a lot of things not working out with the state of Manipur currently. Do you think it is time to redefine the relationship of the state of Manipur with the Union of India? What are your thoughts?
You see, when I say quagmire, I don't want to go into defending myself on the money, whatever it is. I see it in 50 years period, or starting from the colonial period, British colonial period, starting from 1824. We have been trapped into a certain imperialist designs since that time and continued after 1949. This is where I was telling about the quagmire situations. The quagmire may not be everlasting, but it could be temporarily, or it could be time for 100 years, 200 years, wherever it is. Until we come out from this yoke of bondages and slavery and subjugations, then this quagmire will continue. This was my perceptions, and I was not elaborating in that. You see, I don't know if we should be, how do we redefine our relation with the government of India? If that's the case, I don't know what I should have to be saying. But you know, we are part of India now, and the only way how peace, democracy, and durable growth and sustainable development can come to our region has to be through the collective democratic voices of the peoples across communities. That's the only option for us to grow. This is where, you know, the essentialities of the dialogues and mutual understandings comes into play. But if we are not doing this, then we will be falling into the trap of divide and rule policy. It will only exacerbate our situations, and we will get ruined because of various factors. Number one, inflow of more migrants from other parts of the country or beyond, and then the financial intrusions by the big monopoly finance imperialists who would come here, take away our resources, overgrounds and undergrounds. So economically, politically, and culturally, we are going to be, you know, completely suppressed and marginalized. If the small peoples living in different pockets, at least 40 communities, small communities, if they don't realize the looming threat from across the globe, then they are going to boom. If they continue to play as a proxy, and if they continue to play as sovereignist and sectarian forces, purely focusing on its communities, to imagine agendas, then we are all going to doom. This is my fear, and if this problem is not overcome through dialogue and through mutual understandings, then what I said, the quagmire is going to be a reality. It's going to be a prolonged situation for all of us. So for the time being, we are living under the mercy of the Indian state. It's the big financier for all of us. We all know that, but we as people need to prove ourselves that we are a united force, and we will contribute immensely to India's growth through respecting our indigenous rights, through respecting our native rights, or whatever it is, call it indigenous or native, whatever it is. But we know that we are people, one people, which came into existence for many centuries.
Okay.
And we must remain united.
Okay, thank you. Very good point there. And I'll move on to Oja Sonamani, that recently the situation in Moreh seems to be improved. Even Oja Malem even highlighted that. It is mainly, I think, because there is a very strong-willed and dedicated police officer present in Moreh. Why don't the state government also apply the same formula in Kangpokpi as well as Churchandpur to see the same kind of peace prevailing in Moreh, even though even after a lot of destruction, but there is still comparative peace in Moreh present now currently. Do you think that we lack dedicated police officers and personnel for that, or why is Kangpokpi and Churchandpur different? Oja Sonamani.
Amrita,
Okay.
police is a very ordinary organization. Police force is not a fighting force. This is simply police role is to restore the peace and tranquility. And the police are not armed personnel. Yes, there are India Reserve Battalion or Manipur Rifle. When the situation demands, then only their services are pressed. In any civilized state or in the district, in the main India, you must have seen it. Police is hardly seen because everybody is civilized, everybody is law abiding. And now the Moreh's incident is authority has not been given the freedom. It is the political will. Right. Police hands are tied. Police, there is no Kuki police, there is no Manipuri police, there is no Bengali police. Police is a police for everybody. For example, Mr. L.M. Khote, he was a DGP for 6 years. Almost 60,000 60,000 police officers and other ranks he was commanding it. We cannot call that it was a cookie police. The way the one section of community said that he is anti-cookie or he is a Methi chief minister. No, this is absolutely wrong. This is absurd. Such kind of a sarcastic remark should not pass. Now the political will, this is very important. You have asked about the More. More, you say that many police were injured because they were asked not to be very conspicuous, not to be very active, so that one DSP, he had to sacrifice his life. You see, and the police, sometimes we became the scapegoat because political master, they order, they said, no, don't be too active, don't be too prominent, so they have to obey the order. Now, particularly, Modi somehow they managed to restore some peace and tranquility up to some extent. We shall not, Manipur government or Manipur people should not claim that it's their own in the world. No, 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 no. This is a normal things. There was some misunderstanding. There were some people who came from across the border. They created a lot of problem. So my friend Mr. Malem also he had highlighted, because the Chinese policy is also another the factor. A lot of the arms, ammunitions, money, everything funded to the Myanmar people. Then the Myanmar, a lot of the Chin Kuki Joe people are there. They have also funded them because they want to see that India is being destroyed. This is their own policy. But India government will not succumb from that pressure, I believe, because India is capable of facing in any eventuality with China and others. But such kind of a small sporadic incident that becomes a headache. Now you allow me to come back to the Kampupi and the Churachandpura other route. This national highway number 2 and number 37. National highway is under the control of the government of India. It is not state highways. National highway, if it is to open or if it is to be made through for the public as before, then India government has to involve their armed forces and their direction has to be given very clearly. State government has a less role to play there because this is called the Rashtra Marg or the national highway. So national highway belongs to the nation. Nation means it is for the India government. Either the India government, they don't want us that the Manipur people should not go beyond the ambit or beyond the purview of this, the Kampupi. That is a desire of the India government. If they wish, it's okay. Then they are directly or indirectly they're encouraging that Manipur people, many people that they're trying to dressing us to become an anti-national. I say again, India government, I hope your plan is that you are contemplating. I hope that in a very wrong foot that you were pushing us, this Manipuri people, again to become the anti-national. You shall be the government of India. You shall be liable. You shall hold the responsibility. We are also peace-loving people. We have been living it. You're fully aware it. We were a nation, an independent country. After merging with you, if this is the treatment you are meting out, then I think it is unbearable and we cannot bear it. No, doesn't mean that we pick up a gun or LMG or we fire this and that way. No, we simply look at you, what kind of policy you are going to adopt. And are you going to balkanize the Manipur? Or are you going to convert the Manipur is a mayhem, or you wanted to completely, Durga Pujas, that all this, the butchering, the buffaloes like that, every day killing. Definitely, under your blessing, all these things are going on. As I said, Manipur government is a pseudo government. Whatever you say, they will do it. And perhaps the government of Manipur must have tried once or twice that just for a trial, whether the situation demands or situation permits or not, whether people cooperates or not. Apparently, as on today, till today, people do not like that such kind of a movement. Only the Meitei people. For us, we never differentiate Kuki, Chin, Kuki, Khasi, Mijo, and the Bengali or Assamese. No, we want every Manipur citizen is a Manipur citizen. We never differentiate whether you are a black or you are dark or you are pale. No, for us, every citizen of Manipur they are all the Manipur citizens. They have every fundamental rights. So now, Government of India, I ask again, what you made us to confine within this the small periphery, are you enjoying with that, or you're trying to foment us and fomenting the issue or the clash between our communities, which we had been living in a very peacefully for the years together, decades together, centuries together. Now the decision is with the Government of India. So I have hardly any comment. But whatever things are happening, this is the India government. It is your policy. It is your blessing. If you want to see the more bloodshed and without arms, we people, we are moving it. It is your own will. It is your own wish. But there is a God above all of you and above us. The God will never forgive anyone who creates and who has such kind of a divide and rule policy. I think God will never forgive. And we are not happy, to be very frank. Those people either in the plain or the Manipuri people, those who picked up arms, we also condemn it. And those Sioux people, we have to condemn it. Even today, as I mentioned it, today many people ran away. Why? Today is such an auspicious day, every people should enjoy it. I am being a Hindu. We also celebrate Christmas. It is the international festivities today. Even a lot of my friends from the Meghalaya and from the Nagaland, we exchange our the wishing, the best wishes on this auspicious occasion. Even the many Manipuris are there or some other, we also wish it. So in this even particular day has not been spared by some these anti-social elements or some people who wanted to go and killing people, innocent people. So this is what I leave it to the Government of India. We have hardly any comments, but as I say, if the Government of India, if there is a will to do, they can do it. Restore peace and open the national highway.
Okay, very good.
8-9 months.
Yeah,
Sonamani,
yeah, you made a very interesting point that I'd like to take up, that I'd like to pass along to Oja Luwang regarding his, to ask about his insights that you mentioned the pseudo government. On that note, Oja Luwang, when a state executive or the state legislature is not functioning properly as it should, is it legally possible to petition the Supreme Court for imposition of PR or even to ask the Supreme Court to call for fresh elections? What are the legalities regarding that?
Well, Amrita, the discretion under Article 356 of the Indian Constitution to either go or not go for presidential rule in a particular state, it's a complete discretion of the Government of India.
Okay.
I don't think it is possible to petition either the High Court or the Supreme Court for imposition of a presidential rule in any specific state or union territory. It's a complete discretion. In fact, some kind of a misunderstanding also was going on the issue of even scheduled tribe also. And in the court itself, while hearing the petition relating to the Manipur High Court's order of May 27, 2023, the court says that grant or non-granting of ST tax to any particular community is a complete executive discretion. So it's a discretion for the Union of India, for the government, for the Union of India, after satisfying the set criteria for imposition of presidential rule under those, I think, 3 different circumstances. In case of Manipur, it will be a complete breakdown of the constitutional machinery in Manipur. So that can be the only ground for imposition of presidential rule in such circumstances in Manipur, which the Government of India has not done. And there are reasons for that also. It is not legal but political. You see, normally a party in power at a center will not go for presidential rule in a state ruled by the same political party, which is the case in hand, because we have the BJP government at the center and we have the BJP government at the state. So normally people don't do it because it will only spoil its chances of political victory, and more so the elections are being held in India in the next year, somewhere in May, June, around that.
Yes.
So I don't see any scope for a fair, I would say, for exercise of such discretion to impose presidential rule in Manipur in such circumstances. Of course, there have been exceptions where Indira Gandhi has imposed presidential rule in Punjab when the same Congress government was ruling in Punjab. But that, according to me, is a very rare exception, and I don't see any scope for that. They will try to manage it in the way they like. When it comes to the blame game, I'm not very sure about the pseudo government or otherwise which is functioning either at the state level or at the central level. What is happening is that somehow, of course, there was some delay on the part of the state government to respond to the violence of May 3, May 4, May 5, the initial days. That has to be investigated and is being investigated by a committee set up by the government itself. Apart from the 3 judges judicial committee set up by the Supreme Court, those findings will make it clear whether there was a clear lapse of duty on the part of the executive, and things will be crystal clear depending on how they come up with the report, with evidence or otherwise, supporting document or otherwise. Now, just to clarify, you say Article 355, which is usually a precursor to invocation of Article 356, which is the president's rule in the state, has never been officially invoked in Manipur. But because it may not look nice for the central government to go for only invocation of Article 355 without invoking Article 356. Okay. Invocation of Article 356 and the 355 always go simultaneously and they go hand in hand. So that's how the constitutional mechanism works. So to your question, whether a petition can be filed, either a writ petition or a public interest litigation before the Supreme Court or High Court for declaration of presidential rule, Article 356 is non-constitutional in the state, the answer seems to be no. Okay. The court will most probably throw it out, saying that it's not our prerogative, it's not our discretion, because the judgment or the discretion on this part is perfectly executive. Then if it so does, then it might amount to what you said, quote unquote, the judicial outreach, or overreach, to the circumstances, because we have a set standard of mechanism to balance out these 3 branches of the government: executive, judiciary, and the legislature. Okay. Very good. Thank you for your points. Yeah. So coming to the issues although this question has not been directly put to me, coming to the issues of, say, more peace or more common harmony in More, but not so much in Chusatpur and the Kampi. I think that the government has done quite well in More. The government, I think, should take immediate steps to replicate the same system of law and order management by all communities in the remaining 2 districts, Kampi and Chusatpur, so that peace returns to Manipur as quickly as possible. But for that, I think a number of steps need to be taken. Of course, the first step seems to have been taken, which is opening of interstate, inter-district, say, bus service. Now a failure, but hopefully it will be a success. Yes, you're hopeful that it will be successful in the coming days. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, now I'll move on to Oja Malem. That earlier in your opening remarks, Oja Malem, you said we need to redefine the idea of Manipur. I think it's a very good point. I'd like to put a question on that regarding that. That it is. Do you think that it is time for the Meiteis to unify while even defining the idea of Manipur? It is time for the Meiteis and the Manipuris. For example, the Meitei Hindus, the Meitei Sanamahism, the Meitei Christians to be united under one banner. And even what about if we include the Vishnupuriyas, the Meitei Pangals, and other indigenous tribes as under one banner as Manipuris? What do you think? Do you think that this will cement the idea of Manipur in the identity as a Manipuri? Could you please elaborate on that, Oja Malem?
No, I didn't say that the idea of Manipur should be redefined. I said our idea of Manipur, and then I gave my own perspectives on Manipur. Well, that's a different thing. Okay. Unity is always welcome, but with certain conditions. Number one, Unity of whom? Who should be united? And unity for what? What should be the ideology of unity? What should be the guiding principles? What should be the objectives? What should be the strategic unity and what should be the tactical unities? Unities for what? That's a big question. But yes, we always talk about unity, but then when it has to be practically worked out, then we need a lot of brainstorming, knowing, negotiating, fixing the agenda, common agenda, setting the agenda, and then the execution part. Well, Meiteis need to be united. How? Why? When? And who should be there? That's a different thing. At the same time, unity of Meiteis alone cannot shape the idea of Manipur.
Okay.
Unity of Meiteis is very much important. At the same time, the idea of Manipur has to be shaped by the collaborative initiatives, Meiteis, and along with other community stakeholders. It has to be a collective effort. We, Meiteis alone, cannot claim that we are the owner of Manipur. It's a composite land where different communities have been coexisting, right? So I said to the unity at various levels, right? So
Yes.
unity among the Meiteis, but the agenda and guiding principles, ideological positions, worldview should be a religious unity, or should be a political unity, or should it be economical unity, should it be a communal unity, but what should be the guiding principles, what should be the strategic objectives, programs, policies, and tactical things, and then how it would have to, under what circumstances, with what priorities, short terms and long terms, they're going to engage to other communities. All this have to come out. But essentially, yes, we always talk about unity. We talk not simply about unity of Manipur as well. We also talk about unity of India. We also talk about global unity of various professional groups, etc., etc. Unity with nature, between human beings and the ecological environment, because without ecology and ecosystems, human beings cannot live. So I meant, you know, unity operates at different levels for different purposes. But well, unity is always essential. But unity of the different reactionary forces for different sectarian and chauvinist goals is keeping us into troubles today. So unity for what is very important.
Okay, interesting. Time is almost up, but I'd like to move to Oja Sonamani. Just one last point from you, that since the war seems to not have a particular or a concrete solution, do you think that we should fight it out, or maybe the war should be fought out till the very end as a lasting to find lasting peace? Oja Sonamani.
No, sorry, let's not call it a war. Let's call it a disturbance or something else. Let's not call it a war.
Okay, I'll be sure. Okay, I understand. I will be moving on to Oja Sonamani. Yeah, I was asking the same question, but yeah, Oja Sonamani, you can continue the same question that I just asked to Oja Malem. Oja Sonamani, I think you are on mute. Could you please unmute, because we are not audible? Sorry, we still cannot hear you, Oja Sonamani.
So do you hear me, please?
Okay, I can hear you now. Please continue.
Yes, yes. If you're asking me about the Honorable Chief Minister visit to the Assam's Kachar district, where some issues have
and there were some angry SCSOs angrily remarking against
I'm sorry to say, in a very nutshell, I will say that Honorable Chief Minister of Manipur, I had been apprising him with in a very mere capacity, because he is not only the Chief Minister of Manipur, he is being treated that he is the Chief Minister, he is the next to God for the Manipurs, or wherever the Manipurs live. This is what the every people, they feel it, and we consider it. His visit last time was unnecessary. Some issues have been flared up, which could have been avoided. I am extremely sorry to bring it to the kind attention of the Honorable Chief Minister. Assam is a big state. That's about 38 districts, and more than 4 or 5 crores people are there. Manipuris have been spread and throughout the Assam in many districts. Issues, there are various issues. They are living in the midst of the gigantic communities, Okhomia, then again the Bangali, then again there's so many other tribes and the communities. So they have to be, they are very carefully. Our Honorable Chief Minister was very kind enough to visit off and on. He is the only Chief Minister who had ever thought and visited the other state rather than living behind the Manipur. That is that is his greatness, I must admit it. But some issues are there where he should have studied, and he should have tried to familiarize through his intelligentsia, through his advisor, what the Assam peoples are longing, what the Assam peoples desire, that from the Chief Minister of Manipur, he is as good as the sun and the moon for the international or the universal Manipuris, wherever whosoever lives any parts of this globe. But regarding the Vishnu Press issue, then again the Meitei Pangal issue, then the clubbing together, then so many other issues that was really too haphazardly. I feel that he was very haphazardly without, looking into the pros and the cons. He had asked and he said, thereby a lot of, say the word, that Manipuris living in Assam, Honorable Chief Minister apparently, he had uttered in twice that Assam is Manipuri.
Yes.
This word is, according to me, not applicable and not acceptable. We are not the breed, or we are not our Assamese is not our breathing, not our blood. Assamese is a community, Manipuri is a community. Rather, I would have urged him that he should have said that Assam's Manipuri, Assam the Meitei,
Yeah.
Assamese Manipuri Haibatar, whether that gives a different notion, that gives, this is what the Assam's, lot of the civil society organizations, they were really unhappy. They have strongly and vehemently, they have protested. It's a very unfortunate. I also feel, so in the future, I urge the Honorable Chief Minister or any other, the very important VIPs going to Assam, or one should thoroughly study what they want, what they desire, what to utter, what not to utter. Now the Manipuris are really, they are unhappy that in lieu of the offering like a god or the chief ministers, and for his best, or many times he's often visit, or they giving some sort of a ray of hope that he is available for the welfare of the Manipur. No, he had been doing it. That we agreed. But sometime that what I will call it, his advisor might not have been properly briefed, nor he might not have collected what is the desire, the people, what they had been longing it. So this should have been studied properly. That's what I feel. This is very unfortunate. I really request the Honorable Chief Minister. So I think we should be very careful in future,
Yes.
because the Assamese Manipuri means this gives a different meaning. So this is totally that we don't accept it, and Assam's Manipuris, few lakhs people, they are not happy at all. I earnestly request the Honorable Chief Minister, but kindly say one word to them, at least in telephonically, so that their anger, all the anguish, all these things could have been died down. Otherwise, this is going to have a very, not better relation, this is going to have a bitter relation now. Although you made an effort out and out, you had been helping in many ways, we agree. No Chief Minister in the past, during this 50, 60 years, nobody had bothered outside Manipur to see and to study how this Manipur is living in Bangladesh and Tripura or the Myanmar or Assam or in Bengal or in Meghalaya. No Chief Minister, no minister had ever bothered except Sri Biren. We salute for this. But you have uttered such words, many Manipuris are not happy. So I earnestly appeal you, sir, in lieu of
Yes.
giving your statement, kindly talk at least telephonically. They are your children.
Okay,
They
just
are
a moment,
really, eagerly they are waiting a word from you. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word due to misinterpretation. I said, don't mind. That word should have been, that will be suffice, that will cool up. This is very unfortunate. Please don't misconstrue, Honorable Chief Minister, my suggestion. Because this is
Indeed,
only
yeah, on
for
that
your
note,
own
yeah.
status, for your own prestige. I have just apprised to you.
It's a very good point. On that note, we'll have to wrap up this episode. Even though we would like to have discussed a lot more, I'd like to summarize that today our expert panelists have expressed and put their points and their insightful points regarding the short recap of what has happened in Manipur, and especially regarding to this conflict that's going on. And in the year 2023, there have been expressions of hope even for a unified Manipur and also for better days to come in the future. I'd like to thank Oja Malem Ningthouja, Oja P. Sonamani, and Oja Advocate Junior Luwang for being present here today and expressing your valuable thoughts. I'd like to thank you all once again for coming and wish you all very happy Christmas. I'd also like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight, and join us again next Monday, same time. We'll be bringing you with more exciting topics. Until then, have a good week and also have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.